Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into this edition of the Greene Room, recapping what's happened from about June 1st back a little bit. It's been a while since we've been here in the Greene Room, but glad that you're joining us today to find out what's going on in the various sporting leagues. I'm Garrett Greene, bringing you all the latest scores and information from around said various leagues, and we start off with the NBA Finals, what's dominating the sports headlines right now between the Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks. And recapping Game 1 very briefly, you had Miami topping the Dallas Mavericks 92-84. A couple of quick notes. Miami's bench outscored Dallas's bench 27-17. Jason Terry only goes 3 of 10. All 3 of those are three-pointers, so he goes for 12 points. Peja Stojakovic has no points. JJ Barea only has 2. Somehow I don't see that happening again for the Dallas Mavericks. Also, the Miami Heat out-rebound the Dallas Mavericks on the offensive glass 16-6, out-rebounding them by 10. So if you want to see something the Mavericks need to look to do to improve on their game, it's crash the offensive boards and get those rebounds so that way they can have second-chance opportunities and not give Miami second-chance opportunities. Now, the other big storyline out of the NBA Finals is that Dirk Nowitzki has a torn ligament in his left middle finger. So that is something that is going to be interesting to see, or excuse me, not a torn ligament, a torn tendon in his middle left finger. So it's something that should be interesting to see how Dirk is able to deal with that, a guy who likes to drive with his left, though he is a right-handed shooter, so his shooting motion should not be effective, but it should be interesting to see how he's going to be able to finish at the basket now that he's going to have a little bit of issue with that left hand. Now, a little bit more NBA news outside of the NBA Finals. Ricky Rubio, who is the guard from Spain, agreed after 2 years to finally join the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was the 5th overall pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves back in 2009, and he is finally joining the team, a team that needs it a lot since they finished the NBA season with the worst record despite having Kevin Love. So a good complimentary piece for Kevin Love to go there on the pick and roll to see what can happen. And finally, in the NBA, Shaquille O'Neal, the Big Diesel, the Shaqtus, the Big Shamrock, whatever you want to call him, Shaquille O'Neal has retired after 19 seasons in the NBA. Shaq played for 6 teams while he was in the NBA. That would be the Magic, Lakers, Heat, Suns, Cavs, and Celtics. He was a 4-time NBA champion, the 1993 Rookie of the Year. He was a 3-time Finals MVP back whenever the Lakers did their three-peat from 2000 to 2002. A 15-time All-Star, the 2000 MVP for the regular season. And he has 28,596 career points. That is good for 5th all-time. So 4-time NBA champion. Shaq did a lot on the court, off the court, so it should be interesting to see what kind of a personality he carries on. But after 19 years, Shaquille O'Neal is hanging it up. Now on to the NHL, where you have the Stanley Cup Finals going on right now between the Vancouver Canucks and the Boston Bruins. The Canucks go on to win the game last night 1-0 on a goal scored by Rafi Torres with about 19 seconds left to go. I think it was technically 18.5 after they figured it all out. But approximately 19 seconds left to go. A spectacular game of hockey, a shutout all the way through until the end. Great bit of hockey action. So tune in. The next game will be on Saturday, so a long delay there for the NHL playoffs. Now on to the NCAA, where you have the big story, obviously, is Ohio State. Jim Tressel, the head football coach of Ohio State, stepping down on Monday. Now in about 30 seconds or less, I'm going to try and inform you what happened. It was reported back in about December that players were exchanging memorabilia, game-worn jerseys, rings that they received for winning the Big Ten, gold pants that they get for beating Michigan, all kinds of different things in exchange for tattoos at a local tattoo parlor. Now, they were suspended for 5 games, and it wouldn't have been a big deal, except for the fact that Jim Tressel said that he did not know anything about what was going on. Well, it came out that actually Jim Tressel did know about everything that his players had known about, and did not report it to the NCAA compliance office and lied to the NCAA. 2 of the worst things that you can really do as a coach in college football. So Jim Tressel, a lot of pressure on him, steps down trying to take the blame away from Ohio State. That word, lack of institutional control, coming up a lot with Ohio State. So the timeline of what's going on, Jim Tressel steps down on Monday, but then late Monday afternoon, it's a Sports Illustrated article that comes out. It will be in the June 6th edition of Sports Illustrated, that up to 28, not 5, up to 28 28 players at Ohio State since 2002 have received improper benefits, being tattoos and cars for various memorabilia or getting stuff at the Buckeye discount since they were players. So that comes out, and now it is reported that the NCAA is investigating star quarterback at Ohio State Terrell Pryor on his receival of 3 to 4, not 8 as it was initially reported, but 3 to 4 loaner cars that he has received in his 3 years at Ohio State. Most recently, Pryor was seen driving up to practice in a new 2007 Nissan 350Z, which apparently was bought less than 10 days ago. And it should be interesting to note also that according to the state of Ohio, Terrell Pryor's license has been suspended effective starting May 20th. And he was seen driving just a couple of days ago. So driving without a license, driving a brand new loaner car that you get, all of these are really bad signs for Ohio State. And a final bit of NCAA news is just coming across the wire. The Justice Department has asked the BCS Executive Director for volunteer background briefing on how the BCS operates. What they are doing here is looking to see if the BCS violates the antitrust laws that are present in America, to see if the BCS system is in fact flawed and not an equal opportunity for everyone to get in on that. Now, of course, the BCS is going to say that it's what the conference presidents and the chancellors agreed on, but of course they will, because as we all know, it's all about a money grab. And I'm not trying to be biased here. I'm not trying to give a personal opinion, but that's what it boils down to. Because if this were to be ruled that it was violating antitrust laws, they would either have to change things and make it a playoff system, or they would have to turn over part of the power to the NCAA. That's another thing you need to remember. The BCS is a separate third-party entity. It is not something that the NCAA controls. And if they turned over power to the NCAA, it would mean less money for the BCS, which is quite frankly what none of them want. So interesting to see what's going on there. Now on to the NFL, where you have your own conflict of money going on there. It was reported that the NFL, several owners being Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, Jerry Richardson, John Mara, and Art Rooney, along with Roger Goodell, met with DeMaurice Smith, the NFL Players Association executive who's in charge there, along with Kevin Mawai, Mike Vrabel, and Jeff Saturday on Wednesday, just out of Chicago, in a secret meeting to try and bridge the gap between the two sides, that would be the NFL and the NFL Players Association, to try and get things worked out before they have to go to court in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis on Friday. So good to see that there's a lot of work. Some people are speculating that possibly by the end of the month things could be worked out, but we're just going to have to wait to see what can end up happening with football. Whew, a lot of news going on. Now we'll give you one more news story, give you some scores, and get out of here. In Major League Baseball, it is reported that Alex Rodriguez had inappropriate contact with his cousin, who was spotted at the team hotel on Tuesday. Now, A-Rod came out and said that he had taken steroids and received steroids from this cousin, and so it was said that, hey, it's fine, he's your cousin, but he cannot have any association with the Yankees in travel or anything like that, so a violation of the rules there. But Major League Baseball says that the situation has indeed been resolved. So a little bit of news there for A-Rod. Now on to Major League Baseball, where you have a couple of scores across the wire from yesterday. The Rangers defeat the Rays 3-0 as Colby Lewis goes 8 innings. Neftali Feliz comes in and gets his 11th save of the season. The Nationals defeat the Phillies 2-1. The White Sox defeat the Red Sox 7-4. The Astros top the Cubs 3-1. The Yankees beat the Athletics 4-2. The Braves top the Padres 4-3. The Orioles defeat the Mariners 2-1. The Reds top the Brewers 4-3. The Royals beat the Angels 2-0. The Pirates beat the Mets 9-3 on a 7th-inning collapse by the New York Mets, giving up a lot of infield singles that resulted in the Pirates scoring a lot of their runs. The Tigers defeat the Twins 4-2. The Diamondbacks top the Marlins 6-5. The Indians defeat the Blue Jays 13-9. The Giants beat the Cardinals 7-5. in 11 innings. And the Rockies defeat the Dodgers 3-0. Ubaldo Jimenez picking up his first win of the season. Well, wow, there's a lot of things that we got through. Sorry that this has been a little bit longer edition of the Greene Room, but tune in tomorrow afternoon. We should have a recap of Game 2 of the NBA Finals, Mavs versus Heat, and everything going on in baseball. And if there's any more late-breaking developments in the NFL, NCAA, we'll be on top of it here in the Greene Room. Until then, have a good evening and hook 'em horns.